Good morning, everyone, and this is Julie Edwards at Crafts Cute, and welcome back to my channel. I have a quick tutorial on what I'm going to share with you is creating a Dutch door to your signature. Okay, and the Dutch door is where I will remove a portion of this to create this element. Okay, this is the journal cover, and I removed this portion right out of here, cut it out, and this is what this looks like. And underneath here I have a Velcro dot here that's kind of see-through, nothing that's going to stand out, and that is for the purpose of keeping this Dutch door closed, okay, because this is the main page. And when you open it up, I have created this element with a stencil, a little bit of stamping, and some watercolor. Okay, and I wanted to show you that you can take watercolor and create with a stencil a beautiful page. Okay, let me zoom you in so you can have a closer look. Let me move my water out of the way carefully and scoot this up. And this is done with a stencil, if you can see right here, this dragonfly stencil, and I have lightly applied some watercolor so that when you close this up, let me line this paper up, and you close this, you can almost see that this is almost a part of this cover. Okay, if I didn't tell you, then you might think, wow, that's a nice cover. But in actuality, I created the cover to the signature as a Dutch door. And as you can see, all this watercoloring fades into this beautiful watercolor painting. Okay, so again, this is what this looks like. Look how beautiful that is, right? So if you just have one color of a distress ink, okay, you can stencil it in. And I wanted to share with you ladies, let me pause and I'll come right back to show you something. I'm going to zoom you out so you can see this. Be right back. Okay, see this big round tray? Okay, these are the envelopes that are going in that I've got to continue to fill up. I've got some surprises in here, but these are everything right here that's going to be going into those envelopes. And I wanted to share with you that you guys will have in those envelopes, I've already put it in here, I haven't put all your other goodies in here. And that's because inside of that envelope are some surprise stencils. Okay, each one of them, you guys have a beautiful stencil, some stencils in there that you can actually go ahead and take this and use this element to create a Dutch door. And what I'm going to include is two of these. I'll put two each of these in each envelope, okay? In case you want to follow along the video and try it out, okay? And you can attempt to follow this, you know, try it out and follow this tutorial, because this is something that you can add. Remember, I said Christmas gifts are coming, Christmas is coming, perfect gift, okay? And so you can create something like this in the beautiful journal that you're going to make. So I'm going to set this aside and show you how I did this. Okay, so here we go. Now this one is sewn in hindsight. I probably shouldn't have sewn this in, and I didn't know if I was going to be doing this element, but I thought, well, you know, I'm going to do a tutorial on it to show you that you can take whatever design feature that you have, a special paper that's in your stash, and then create a Dutch door. So since this is sewn, I'm going to be careful to cut this right here, and I'm going to move this aside and try and cut along here all the way up to this leaf right here, and then I'm going to cut it around, cut all of these off. Okay, so you wouldn't have to do this, because I hope that when you do try this, that you will not have your signature sewn into your cover. Okay, so I'm going to cut it right up to here and then cut all of this out, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I've cut this out, this portion. I'm just going to set that aside. Let me just clean off this little part right here. Okay, now here's the Dutch door, and if you can see, there's these little jagged edges that I left just to give it a little, you know, extra TLC to the page. Okay, extra texture to the page instead of just being cut out in one. See how I cut that out? Okay, now what I have done, let me find that piece of paper. Okay, I'm going to take this piece of paper and put it underneath here. I just take a little swatch, a little stamping thing, and stick it under here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some stamping. Now I have this dragonfly. Here's this dragonfly that I did right here and over here. Okay, but I'm going to change it up. I'm not going to do it the same way. I started off with the dragonfly here, and then I brought this over here to bring this in here. What I'm going to do is probably bring this one down. If I bring him swooping down here, like maybe right over here somehow, swoop him down here, and then I'll take him out to his right about there, and then maybe get half of a dragonfly like this over here. Okay, so I'm just gonna get my distress ink. I love vintage photo. There's another one that is really popular too. It's called walnut stain, but walnut stain is a lot deeper than this one. Okay, so I tend not to use the walnut stain. Do I have one here? No, this is my other little vintage photo one. So I'm going to go ahead and place my stamp. So I'm going to remove my stamp off of here, off of the little backing, and set that aside. Let's just put that over there, and let's get the stamp in place. I want my dragonfly to go about there. Okay, and then I'm gonna hold this steady so that I can get this image down very carefully without going over the edge of this stencil. And what I mean by the edge is the edge of the stencil, so it doesn't go onto the page. And if it does slightly get off the page, I'll show you what I do to remedy that. So let's just say I got some off this page. I'll just go like that. Okay, and I'll show you what I do. And in fact, that's why I added the watercolor. Get my dragonfly done. I'm going to hold this in place and get his tail. Okay, and now do you see all of this right here that's along this? I couldn't help it, but I go ahead and try and take a little eraser, try and get most of that faded out. But if you don't get it completely off, that's why I brought my watercolor in. Okay, put this over here, back here. Let's get this dragonfly back where it belongs, right here. Set that aside. Okay, now we got the, oh, no, I've got to add my other little dragonfly feature, don't I? I want a second dragonfly, so I think I'm going to go in an angle like this. Okay. Get that dragonfly, because there's still quite a bit of ink left on this dragonfly, the ink pad. Now, there we go. Okay, I'm not too worried about those extra ink marks. Let me bring that up to you. If you can see, I got it off the stencil area. That's why. If you have some watercolors, and trust me, you don't need any expensive watercolor. This set that you see here, except for the box, I had to order that separately online because I got a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 20, 24 set of watercolor tubes that came in a set at Walmart, and it was for $10. Just a cheap set. Very inexpensive, great colors, you know. Okay. So that's what that looks like, okay? But now, let's get to applying some watercolor to this. So I'm going to just put this lip underneath here, like this. I'm going to show you a technique. First of all, I'm going to add some, before I start coloring this in, I'm going to take my little signature thing, and I'm going to use some black archival. I would use this like gray, but I'm going to be using gray for the background. So let's get some stamping done in here. Okay, this is a very old stamp. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It came on a block and I couldn't stand the block, so I removed the rubber part off the block just so it's more pliable. Okay, and I'm going to turn this over because I'm going to just dab and test out what I have. Okay, so I'm going to ink some of this up, and I am going to just apply it as straight as I can. There, like that, and then just add a little more there. Okay, so there's that with that ink pad. So I'm going to set that aside. I have coffee. I do have a sepia one. I can't find it right now. And this is watering can. I love watering can. Okay. Now let's get to mixing. Where's my... I will use this watercolor, my paintbrush. Here's my water. Okay, and so to cover all of these little dark edges, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my blue here. I'm going to take some of this blue. Oh, let's wet this brush. Some of this blue and place it over here. And then I'm going to take a little bit of violet, mix that up in here, because what I'm doing is creating a a gray and some black. Okay, so now what I will do is test out this gray color. I don't want it too dark, so I'm going to add a little more water to lighten it up. So I created a gray. Okay, and then I'm just going to lightly go over this area. And I think I need to go in a little bit darker. And just kind of scatter this paint along in here. I think I need to go a little bit darker here. And add some deeper grays. And then I'm going to get some green, some of my yellow, and then just add some more water to this and just kind of dot this over here to give it like a slight background. Let me zoom you in on this. Okay, and I'm just trying to just loosely paint it over the page. And then I want to get some of this pink and then add it into this green. Some water, and then just slightly take it through the page. I'm just swirling it around. Let me get some of this gray that I have up here and just bring that up. And pretty much there we are, we're done. Just creating a slight watercolor feature just to give it some depth, but it also, if I turn this page, let me take care of this brush real quick. I didn't take out a napkin. So, oh, and then what I want to do is take what's left over in here and just kind of give it some splatter. And then I'm going to go in and get some of my green. Get some more green, yellow, and add some of this yellow in. And then dot it. And then let me get some of this gray. I need to create some more, so I need to go in with my blue, violet, and just a little bit of black. Oops, that's a little too dark. If you, oops, let me come out. Okay, what I'm doing is, if I can open up my pan, I took my blue here. I don't remember the names, I didn't write it down, and then my violet purple, and then my black, and I'm going to need to add some purple to this to give it more of a gray, and then I'm going to come out here and swatch it onto my pan. And then, since I have it right, I'm doing a splatter. Okay, and that'll be the end of that. That's how quick it is, you guys. Just take some watercolor. I'm going to let that, set that aside to dry. Oops, I didn't know I got some on my cover, but that's okay. That's good. That's okay. So I got some paint in there. No worries. Okay, so now I'm going to let this dry a little bit. I didn't... Oh, yes. While this is drying, let me see if I can get that to dry up a little bit faster. I've got my overhead fan on to keep so it'll start drying. And what I should have added was when I open this up, I have this little stamp here, and that's where I'm going to put my date of my journal when I begin my journal, what month and the date and the year. And that's what that'll look like. Okay, so now I have the stamp. Oops, let me take this brush out of here and hang this thing upside down. Let me get my paintbrush hanging upside down on my magnetic, the magnetic arm on my microphone. Let me dab this. There's just a little bit of water right there. I think I accidentally spilt that on there. Okay, so I'm going to take this stamp right here, and I'm going to use the archival coffee. The reason why I'm using the coffee is because it matches the dragonflies. Okay, let me move this out of the way so I don't spill that anywhere. So what I'm going to do is turn this. Ooh, I better take care of the danger zone and cover this up. That would have been a danger zone. Let me wipe this up area over here. And then I'm going to just remove this real quick. And then I'm going to make sure I got everything lined up and centered, like so. And then I better restamp this because it probably already dried with the archival. And then I'm going to try and keep this as straight as possible right up here in this corner, and I'm going to stamp that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that's where the date's going to go. Okay, and so I'll have to, let me leave that, so it gives me some room here. So this is signatures already sewn in. Okay, this whole thing is still sewn in. The cover is not compromised, because see, I've got these two holes right here holding this cover, and I still got this last sewn in part of the signature to hold the journal. I didn't compromise anything at all. So here's the Dutch door. Okay, and then where did I put those little dots? Oh, here they are. And here are the dots that I used. Okay, these are the tiny little Velcro dots, and it's got the, if I can separate it, it has, oops, see, it has the sticky part and the fuzzy part for it to stick. Now the fuzzy part is going to go on this side of the jacket, and the clear side is going to come down here. That way it blends into the page. Oh, pull that apart. Okay, stick back on there. Get this covered so it doesn't get ruined. Okay, put that aside. Now, if I put the fuzzy part down here, it'll stand out because it's so opaque. See the difference? This side is opaque and this one's clear. So what I'm going to do is just stick the opaque side down just anywhere right there. Oops, let's get this bad boy back on here. Okay, let's line it. Well, I don't have to line it up because it's already sewn in. So I'm going to lay this flat, and I'm just going to press it down. Just hold it for a second for it to, okay, my paints I think are almost dry. Not quite, it's still a little drippy, so I'm going to let the air, the fan above me, dry it. Okay, now let's see, we should be able to remove that. See, this is clear, that's a clear dot, and it kind of blends into the page. And here's that opaque side, that's the fuzzy side that will adhere to this. Now that this is done, when you watercolor, see, there's just light coloring back here, but it's not so bad. It just adds to the feature of your paper. And so what I do is I take this paper, just a copy paper, and slip this in between, just like this, and I leave that here, and I close this up, and then I put something heavy on top of it, like my flower book right here, and just leave it here. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here till later on today, and then it'll flatten that page, and it will look like this. See, the page is pretty flat, it's not warped. And then when I go to sew the signature, I'm going to sew it in the same way I did to the one that's underneath here. I'll do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, because it's going to be sewn in here. It'll have one sewn in here and over here to hold the whole journal together. Okay, so that's the only reason why I hadn't sewn this, and I was going to sew it on off camera, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to show you how to do this this Dutch door. Okay, I forget who that inspired me to do this. It was at Shada Campbell. Not sure. I think it might have been Shada Campbell. She's a watercolorist, and she does a watercolor marker. She does like journaling stuff, journal setups, and this is just a beautiful way to add another cool textured element to your signatures, right? Isn't that just gorgeous? So you can open it up, and for me, this one, when I start writing in the journal, it'll have the date that I started this journal. Okay, and then I can add a little bit of something here, write something on here, you know, on this page, and then you can just start journaling. And then keep in mind, please, keep in mind that when you go to start journaling, you can add these little water features, your own little water features to your pages. Okay, you can. I probably wouldn't do it behind a watercolor feature. I'd probably do this page, or skip a page to do a lot of journaling, and then do another watercolor feature within your journal. So this one, the reason why I keep tapping this is because, you know, I don't have it sewn in, and I want to be able to line up my dots. So there you guys have it. This is a Dutch door with just a simple, just takes one stencil. Okay, one single stencil, and mine was the dragonfly. Okay, and where is, I'll show you again the difference. Let me just pop this out. Let me show you the difference. So here I have a full dragonfly here, and I have a half one here. But when I go to open this, I have the full one here. Look how beautiful that is, right? And you don't even have to use, oops, I better put this back so I can get this paper to dry flat. So the reason why I'm doing this is, remember, I'm using it to take because this paper will warp, so I'm going to remove the warp from it. Oops. Set that here, and then here's this one that we did. You guys, thank you guys for stopping by. I had to do this quick tutorial because, and it's early in the morning, I'll sleep in for a little bit because I have a busy day to finish up making my manicottis and homemade pasta for the manicotti. I've got to do the sauce, and then the ricotta mixture, and then I do like it's like a crepe almost, but it's an egg batter, so it's a very soft, supple pasta. So I'm going to be busy doing that today, so that's why I wanted to get this in today and then have you guys give it a go. And again, all my anniversary winners, the reason why this is not sent out yet, because I have added some surprise stencils in your package. Okay? And before it goes out, who knows? You might have some more goodies. But all I know is this. I'm going to add this. I'm going to add 2 of these pages, okay? Already printed on cardstock if you want to use it to create your own, create a journal, okay? So each one of these packages, I've already got the stencils in here. I'm not going to show you which one you guys get. Everyone's getting something different. And then I'm going to add 2 of these into this package. Okay, so those were my anniversary winners. Thank you for being so patient with me. You know why. I have gone through a huge, horrible situation. I'm recovering. I am recovered in the name of Jesus. I'm doing fantastic. The peace of God, His shalom, is upon me. And I want to say this. May God bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you and give you His shalom, His peace. And I say this in the name of Jesus. Amen. So God bless you guys. Be excited. And if you like this, what I've shown you, share this channel. Please leave me a comment. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and share my channel. You know, have other people join in. And remember, these are not for just Christmas, but they're gifts all year round. And for ladies who are a part of a women's study, get together, put on the video, and make and create these things. And then you can do a swap. Also, when you have a new visitor to your women's fellowship, give them this as a gift. Make a complete journal and give it to them. What way to be able to share the love of Christ, the love of Jesus, when they can take something and use it for a personal journal to start their personal journey and relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I love you guys. God bless you, and see you later. Bye.